It has been axiomatic for the last decade or so to proclaim that movie stars are dead, and that people care more about characters and IP than star power. People aren't flocking to the new Chris Hemsworth movie, they're flocking to Thor. Though, after the general reception of the last one, I would be surprised if that happens again. Over the last couple of years, however, there has definitely started to be a shift. Timothée Chalamet is a movie star. Emma Stone is a movie star. Sydney Sweeney is undeniably pretty much on the cusp of stardom, and her Euphoria castmate Zendaya is absolutely a movie star. And it's her star power that has given Warner Brothers the confidence to push out Call Me By Your Name director Luca Guadagnino's latest film Challengers as such a big release. This is complex character drama as blockbuster thrills, sexually charged, intense, and while I'm sure this is going to play great to the teenage crowd, mature and adult as well. The kind of thing that maybe in the 70s or 90s might have been pushed out to such a wide audience, but in the recent climate of franchise domination, something that has become a rarity. And oh boy, I am so glad this film has proved to be such a hit. Challengers is an excellent film that hooked me in and left me gasping for breath by its end. Guadagnino's grasp of cinematic language is masterful. The film has a forceful and brisk pace, but it never once feels like it's not letting you relax into the movie's world. The story is told in a very non-linear structure, but this isn't one of those post-Pulp Fiction films that's just doing it for the sake of it. The central tennis match Mike Feist and Josh O'Connor's characters are playing means one thing when you start watching it and something much deeper and very different by its end. The film is a puzzle, and you won't understand what's going on at the beginning until you've seen the whole film. But each scene keeps taking on new meaning the more and more we learn from past and from present. It's kind of reminiscent of Exotica in that regard. Though I didn't like how they felt the need to write in text when everything was taking place, something that feels like a studio note because it should be largely apparent without needing to be spelled out. The intelligent storytelling prowess on display is a large reason why I'll most certainly be watching this again. In addition to this, the film's cinematography, just wow. There's subtlety, there's long takes, both static and motivated, that allow the acting to do its work, but also there are some shots in this that are going to be iconic. One in particular towards the end, I was sat in the cinema thinking, how the hell did they pull this off? My guess is unfortunately computers, but I most certainly could not say that for sure. All this adds to an incredibly intense experience. It was a pleasant surprise that this played on the large screen in my local view, and I am so thankful that I got to see this on that scale. This is a true cinematic experience. Big screen entertainment need not mean explosions and gunfights. And as much as this film receiving an IMAX release caused a lot of jokes on social media, you know what? It's probably really great in IMAX. The intensity is only amplified by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's fantastic and fist-pumping score. There's heavy techno influences here, oftentimes sounding like something you'd associate typically with a Berlin nightclub. But also at times it sounds very much like 2000's era 9 Inch Nails. I will be very surprised if this isn't my favourite score of the year, and it's fascinating to see which scenes Guadagnino punctuates with the most intense tracks. There's a lot of thought put into where these tracks go, which conversations are linked to the intensity of a high-speed tennis match, and there's some very immersive sound editing in here too. But now, the acting. In my June 2 review, I said that as I had never seen Euphoria, I wasn't sure if Zendaya could actually act. She was the weak link in June Part 2, and in the Spider-Man films, she's barely playing a character. This was the most controversial thing I said in that review, with quite a few people signaling that out as the thing they disagreed with. Anyway, yeah, Zendaya's brilliant in this. She, along with Feist and O'Connor, brilliantly portray their characters and their complex development from being teenagers up to their early 30s. There are so many subtleties in both the script and the performances, subtleties that are only enhanced by the non-linear narrative, and it made for a very engaging watch. At the end of the day, this is a film about three rather pathetic people. By no means irredeemable and always three-dimensional and human, I've seen this quote banded about social media, which is attributed to Oscar Wilde, that says, everything in the world is about sex, except sex, which is about power, to describe what this film is about. But that really is a fairly reductive reading of the movie. This is a film about human needs, including sex, including love, and including professional success, money, family, and about, both knowingly and unknowingly, using people to achieve these means, even if you yourself don't actually know what it is you want. As sexy as this film is, in the real world, you would absolutely want to stay away from these people as your romantic partners. The fact an adult drama dealing so heavily with sexuality has been pushed out in such a big way is a step in the right direction after a largely prudish decade from Hollywood. I do not for the life of me buy the whole Gen Z don't want sex in their films thing. Many of the polls done on this are including people who were still in school at the time. And I think the fact that people are flocking to a film that's marketing itself so heavily on sex being a major theme is an indication of this. That being said, though the film is sexually charged to no end, there is no actual sex in this, and that's fine, obviously, but it's not really a subversive thing to do anymore. Maybe a decade ago it would have been, but now that's kind of the norm. And in my opinion, Poor Things marked a bigger shift in a Hollywood film dealing with sexuality than this does. As comic book fatigue sets in, though, I'm hoping more major studios will take a chance on films like these, not just saving them for Oscar season, but marketing them as big, wide releases alongside programming that is more targeted at a family-friendly audience. I loved this movie. Loved it. It's been a while since I've seen Call Me By Your Name, but this is at least as good as that was. I was engaged, I was exhilarated, it was intense, it was thought-provoking, it was intelligent, it was emotional. Strong recommendation, and a very strong 9 out of 10 from me. So what did you think of Challengers, and what's your favourite Luca Guadagnino film? As always, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider tipping me on Ko-Fi. The link is in the description, and also in the description is the link to my podcast, the Extreme Cinema Podcast. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.